Welcome one and all. This one game here is called Off. It's an indie RPG maker game that was made in France by a man named Marty is Ghost. Now for stream purposes, my name is Dusk Golem on NeoGAF, though on YouTube I'm known as That Gamer. This game was released in 2007, but an official fan translation was created, about a year ago, and it's pretty good. I just started playing it yesterday. I got through the first few zones. I was thinking I was going to stream probably a horror game, but this will do, because this game right now has been on my mind since yesterday. It has a very Earthbound feel to it, and we're going to go straight into it. Caution, certain scenes in this game could be immensely shocking to an unwarned public, and I will warn you, this game does have a bit of a disturbing edge to it. That's part of the fun, though. Or not. Maybe. The atmospheric sounds of Off have been created by alias Conrad Coldwood, and are an important part of the game. It would be a shame to play without them. But we got the music, it's no big problem, and this is an original soundtrack. It's actually really good, as you're going to discover in just a moment. Now, for the purpose of NeoGAF-ness, I guess we're going to call ourselves right away NeoGAF. Because why not? Just why the fuck not? NeoGAF goodness. This weird thing with the font, though, where sometimes letters are more spaced out. Well, whatever, we're going straight into this. Our name is NeoGAF. We're a boy. Alright, welcome, NeoGAF. You have been assigned to being called the Batter. It's a being called the Batter. And that's our character. The graphics are very... There's a certain console that looks like, but I can't think of the name right off the top. The Batter has an important mission. Be sure that's accomplished. We will drop you off at Zone 0. Good luck. For more information, find the one called the Judge. And now we enter into the world of Off. Off, well, it's a very odd game. I'm not going to say too much because we're just getting right into this. To move my body, use the arrow keys on your keyboard. And yes, I'm going to be giving them all little silly voices, so just roll with it. To interact with the environment, use the spacebar on the enter key. Here we have our character, the main character, the Batter. As we're going to find out pretty quickly, he's on a purification mission to save the world, or a sacred mission, as he likes to call it. We'll be entering right into Zone 0, as things are not going to pick up yet, but we have a few tutorials to run through anyway. We're also going to meet our other secondary main character right off the bat. He's kind of a Cheshire cat-like character. There cannot be any other living beings in Zone 0, so I must assume that you are only a mere product of my imagination. Nevertheless, I will introduce myself. I am the Judge, and I am aching to know your name, dear illusory intellector. I am the Batter. I've been assigned to a sacred mission. It is a pleasure. However, it is not the puppet I addressed, but the puppeteer controlling it. What is your name, dear puppeteer? His name is NeoGAF. He can't talk to us. However, he can hear and see everything. Even though you two are nothing but a mirage in my eyes, let it be said that I am delighted to meet you as well, dear NeoGAF. I believe we're in need of your services. Many people are in need of my services, you know. Everybody loves cats. We rub ourselves against their legs and purr in an insistent manner. They adore that. I'm not talking about the kind of help. I see. But what sort of service could I offer to an ectoplasmic entity? I have a sacred mission to fulfill. I must purify the world. There is no object more valuable or more laudable than yours. I accept to serve you as a guide through this area, if it is of any help to you. Thanks. And here we go. The cat runs off ahead of us. Now, it's kind of interesting because the cat, kind of like a Cheshire cat, goes one place and pops up in other places. I probably was inspired by that. Now, immediately we can just open up some treasure chests. Luck tickets, as we're going to learn what those are for later, but there's a treasure chest over here we can't get yet. In here we see a string of numbers, 4, 4, 8, 2, 8, 7, and I think it's supposed to be a C, but I assume it's supposed to be a 0 based on my experience from the first zone. Regardless, we won't actually need to use that yet. We just need to go talk to Mr. Shear here, the Judge, I guess. Allow me to tell you that you are very tangible for a that's a very big word, like phantasmagorial, I guess, being. Might you be in fact a creature of flesh and blood? I think so, yes. So I misled myself in error from the beginning. You did not even interrupt my deluded banter. This is relatively bizarre, I must say, for you are the first living being I was given a chance to encounter in this loo. I had in fact concluded that Zone 0 was an empty land. Obviously, I was mistaken. However, There exist other zones where the risk of hostile individuals attacking you in the most violent manner is quite high. Your sacred mission will likely lead you into these lands. Would you like me to teach you the art of violent confrontation? Combat tutorial. Now, the combat in this game is kind of more typical RPG Maker-ish. At least there's a certain build of RPG Maker where you have a recharging bar or gauge, I guess, but we're going to take a tutorial, even though it's really obvious, I think, to figure out, because more dialogue. That's the honest reason. Purification in progress. This here is a battle screen. As you can observe, you will find yourself placed at the right-hand side of the screen. Your opponent, however, in this case yours truly, will be located on the left in single combat. At the beginning of combat, you will be confronted with a choice. You have to decide whether to attack, auto, or flee. Attack naturally permits you to engage the fight in the classical fashion. If auto is set to your decision, the computer will make the strategic choices in your place, making you simply the spectator. Finally, flee, as its name indicates, is the option of the coward. I dehort this alternative. But now, it is time for the offense. Choose attack, select the batter, and then choose attack anew to roll off me with your bat. Do not utilize the auto function. The computer will not hold back, and I would take the risk of dying, taking my secrets with me to the grave. Okay, so just pretty simple stuff here. If you saw, our meter over there just charged, so now we can select the batter to attack. If we choose attack, we'll attack the cat, and there we go. Excellent, dear compliant companion. You must consider that the impact of your assault depends on the level of the batter and the enemy. It is impossible that you or your adversary could avoid the barrage of attacks that you will throw at each other with slyness. There is also the possibility that your cast iron will or could get you a critical hit, which will cause teeth to fly in heaps. But let us move on. If you are willing to, you may have noticed that you chose attack for the first time. After you selected the batter, a new window opened itself at the lower right-hand side of the screen. There, you have the choice between 4 new options. Attack leads to a soul strike against a likewise soul adversary. Competence permits you to use one of your special skills. Objects will grant you access to the items you are currently carrying. Finally, you have yet again the opportunity to flee, but remember, solely the batter is responsible for the option in his personal menu. How about trying to utilize an object? Take this luck ticket and use it on the batter person with gratitude. And now we get the luck ticket, which is essentially our basic healing item. The game's also, into my point, I think picks up after this, but still, tutorials are tutorials, so we're going to go off and choose our objects and use a luck ticket, which we have 2 of because we picked up one from a chest, and impeccable. Your mastery of battle borders on brilliancy, my friend, but there is one thing we have not yet addressed. I am, of course, talking about competence. They are generally, in layman's terms, special moves. They can trigger surprising effects. They may induce a resurge of health points, or may be in and of themselves powerful attacks. Nevertheless, know this. Any use of competences lead to a consumption of competence points, CP. So I ask that you use these skills sparingly. Once your CP is completely consumed, it will be impossible to carry out heavy assaults. And if you happen to cross swords with a tougher opponent before being able to get some more CP, victory will be uncertain. But try it right away. Choose competence and try using the wide angle, which will allow you to analyze your enemy. And with that, with the competence, this is this basic more so move where we can see the stats of the enemy that we're against. The Judge, an odd-appearing cryptical cat. Hit points 300, CP 30, no weaknesses / resistance. You now know not only all about me, but also about the art of combat. About the wide angle, know that the batter's analysis will always be based on the start of the battle. Thus, he may accidentally analyze adversaries you have already knocked out for a long time. The confrontation ends, theoretically, when the health points of your team or all of your opponents fall to 0. Take good care of your health if you want a successful career in purification. And with that tutorial over, from now on, you will be ready to crush all impure obstacles that get in your luminous mission's way. Well, supposing your intelligence is on the same level with your undeniable capability of dealing bat blows to an innocent cat. Be it as it may, your training has not reached its end yet. Let me ask you to follow me, if you still want me as your guide. And the cat does a freaking ninja flip up there, so Onward to victory or whatever. Now, this is the other element. This game is quite heavy on puzzles. As all these first puzzles are pretty simple, so no big deal here, but regardless. Ah yes, to pass through here, you need to use your cerebral organ. You know, the one bathing flabbily in your cranium. I believe those floating blocks represent the order of the symbols you see on the wall, or something like that. Now this is pretty simple. What you do is just use all the blocks in the order you see on the wall, so it's like just 1, 2, 3, 4, simple as that. Onward, but this is trying to teach us the basics of how these sort of, honestly, block puzzles work. Now this one's a bit more complicated, but still pretty easy. 1, 2, 6, 8, 2, 3, which is essentially 1, 2, 6, 8, 2, 3. There we go. That is pretty self-explanatory, and the next one is going to take advantage of that one number that we saw at the front postal area. Finally, after all that exertion, eagerly awaited recompense makes its entrance to the scene. And that's essentially his way of saying, fuck you, I'm going to eat food all day. Crunch, crunch. And with that, we need to get that number again. Alright, so we get this silver flesh. That will actually restore all of our hit points and all that when we're out of battle, so that's pretty useful. So, 448287, 448287, 448287, 448287, 448287, and then we press this to just finish it all off, and that means that we're in the clear. We're gonna leave Mr. Judge here to nom away on his kitty food, but of course he needs to tell us one last tutorial before we're actually out of here. Here is an accessory that is going to be especially helpful on your purifying quest, dear enlightened student and sportive friend. It is a cube hovering in mid-air, as you have likely noticed. Nevertheless, you will be able to differentiate it from similar ones by the contrast of bad taste it imposes on your view of its statured color, defying any sensible course of plastic arts. However, do not judge it too quickly, because despite its criticizable appearance, this red cube is of undeniable use. Aside from rendering you the entirety of your health and competence points, it is capable of saving your progress and sending you to the nothingness. The nothingness is lieu of transition outside of space itself, where you can travel from one point to another at the speed of light. I am now urge you to try it out in order to discover locations more populous in this barren wasteland. Open your wings, my dear companion, and hurry away towards the following zones without hesitation. Your only enemy is the fear that will grab you. Okay. Do not worry. I too travel a lot through the different zones of the world. We will newly meet one another eventually, without a doubt. By the way, this object of a curious name will be the key that permits you to enter Zone 1. Have I clarified that you can at any time consult your inventory and characteristics by pressing the escape key? The Leo card has been found. And with that, we can enter into the nothingness zone after we get all our stuff, and we can save our game, which we're going to take off from there, and we're going to return to nothingness, which is the basic overworld of our type of game. Pretty simple overworld, though. Just different place to actually go inside. We have Zone 1, Zone 3, Zone 2, and Zone 0. Zone 4 is locked away right now. But regardless, we're going to take this moment to stop the stream for YouTube purposes and all that, and I want to make sure everything's streaming just fine. So, the stream will be right back up in just a few moments, so catch you guys in just 1 second.